Hey everyone. So I knew a lot about my taxes to begin with because I've done my own taxes for a number of years. The software I use is with TurboTax, and it's pretty simple to use. It asks you questions as you go, and you basically fill it in. Excuse me. But that also led me to not truly understanding some things and how they worked. So I did learn taxes a little more in detail doing this chapter. I was surprised. I knew more than I thought. A lot of it that I read, I already understood. I knew my filing status, which is head of household, because I am divorced and have a minor child, and I'm responsible for all of the upkeep on my home. So I knew that for sure. My withholding status is correct. I didn't know it was called a withholding status. And I understand how to check over it, make sure that it was after doing the chapter. I'm aware of what the words on a W-2 means. I have been for a long time because I file taxes, and they're pretty self-explanatory, actually. I've always used the standard tax deduction because I end up with less tax liability. But I didn't know that before, that's why the program would automatically select or ask me if I wanted to use the standard deduction. It would just tell me that, it was the recommended way for me. So I just did what they recommended. Now I understand in detail the difference between itemized deductions and standard deduction, and why standard deduction works better for me. So for me, there was things I didn't know just because they didn't apply to me in my situation, like being able to pay estimated taxes, and that they paid 4 payments a year. Because I've never been a business owner or a lawyer or someone who who receives income without withholding. I didn't know you could do amended returns. I didn't know that, you had a limitation of 3 years from your filing and 2 years from your tax payment. And I didn't know what red flags were for an audit. I knew people can get audited and people dread that happening. But I didn't know that things like a high income, high deductions, taking out home office expenses, and a lot of business expenses would send up a red flag for an audit. So I did learn a good bit in this chapter, but I really was surprised that I knew more than I would have thought initially going into this chapter. This is probably the most beneficial one to me so far because we do this every year. So, all right, bye.